I'm looking to buy a home, but I don't know what types of loans are available and I don't know the key factors to consider. Well, if you're looking to buy a home, these are the things that you should be thinking of before you buy that next property. Hey everybody, Justin Udy here with Justin Udy and Team Real Estate. In helping over 1,000 families, I want to help you know what you can do to buy your first home. So this was actually brought to us from our social media manager, where she's like, everybody my age doesn't know how to buy a home and what we should do. So let's talk about a couple different things that you should consider. Number one is I want you to know that you need to know the key factors in going into a property and the things that you should consider, okay? Number one is I want you to think about, what is my down payment? How much money am I going to save for the money down? Just so you know, it depends on the program and it's typically a lot less than you think. It can be as low as 3%, as high as higher percentages, but on average, for buying a first-time home buyer, it can be 3% to 5%, but also there are programs available that are less, which we'll quickly discuss. Another thing I want you to consider is what is the interest rate? One of the things that is a key phrase that I talk about when working with buyers is that terms are just as valuable as the price. Consider the following: $550,000 property, payment at 5% is closer to about $2,700. 6% is about $3,000. 7% ends up being roughly around $3,300. Now those aren't exactly what the payment is, but it kind of gives you a general idea. So as rates go up, so does your payment. So interest rates matter, and so there's a lot of factors with the interest rate. It depends on what is your credit score, what is your debt, how does your information of you personally, of how you keep your finances and your debts in line, that will then coordinate with a rate that seems to make sense from the bank that is wanting to give you some money to buy a house. So that comes to the next factor, is what we call a debt to income ratio. That is essentially saying, I have $100,000 income, but I have $50,000 in debt. Well, 100,000 divided by 50,000, you have the 50% the debt compared to the income ratio, okay? Now folks, there's a number of different ratios, but typically kind of once you start getting over that 50%, it's kind of difficult to get a loan. There's different programs, credit unions, banks that all have different criteria. Some as low as 37%, some that are even higher. So just know kind of that is the general number that we use. After that 50%, where sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to get a loan. So how do we change that? Get rid of the credit card debt. We get rid of some of those things. We make some changes in our lifestyle, or we just end up speaking with the loan officer and going through, and they have some strategic ideas for you. Remember, they've done this hundreds and hundreds of times. And the next thing is we need to know what is going to be the cost of closing this transaction. Yes, I have to have money for the down payment for the house, but what are some of the other costs I should consider? Folks, we want to make sure we have some extra money set aside for a couple things. We want to do a home inspection. Those can run from $300 to $500. There might be some additional inspections and fees that we want to do. Also, the appraisal. An appraisal may cost you another $500. So just know, we're anticipating anywhere at the lowest $300, $400 minimum. But usually I would probably say, hey, plan on anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 of additional costs in addition to the money down and the closing costs to do the loan. Very quickly, I want to go over some quick loan programs and the loan programs that are available. Typically, these are the biggest ones. Conventional loan. Typically a conventional loan, anywhere from 3 to 5% down. They're very generous about the condition of the property and they will give you a loan, and the rates are the most competitive on the market. And I shouldn't say they're most competitive, they're very competitive on the market. FHA loan, Federal Housing Administration loan. Just so you know, rates are actually very great. And so they actually have some really good opportunities where you can get into an FHA loan, typically with less money down. So less money down, but the risk is a little bit higher because they're saying, hey, you don't have to put as much money down, but we want to make sure the condition of the property is in good shape. So they have some criteria about that property. There's something called a USDA loan, which is kind of a rural housing loan. Those are for kind of outside of the city. There's also outside of conventional FHA, USDA loans. Those are probably really your top 3 highest used loans that we probably see, let's call it 75-80% of the time, okay? The other items I want you to consider that sometimes we also do see is that there is seller finance offers. That if somebody is seller finance, sometimes you'll hear something, the words contract for deed. Those are types of offers. The other thing to consider is that there's grants available in the market. You want to check with the city. You want to check with your locality. You want to understand, is there grants available for a first-time home buyer? I want you to think about also special financing that's available for like teachers, police officers. I want you to consider those. The Veterans Administration loan. I can't believe I forgot about this. Folks, there's the conventional FHA, the VA loans, Veterans Administration, and those USDA. With those VA loans, again, amazing low interest rates. You end up having the people that are from the Veterans Administration, very low interest rates, sometimes no money down, and again, they have that benefit. At the end of the day, I just want you to know the following. In buying a property, there is some steps, and so there's a couple things that are available to you. We can definitely get you our home buyer guide. That home buyer guide not only gives you the steps to get through it, but there's about 20 plus pages of information that will be free to you if you want that information. 2, we're available to answer any question for you about the home buying process. I will tell you personally, I own multiple residential, other different types of properties, and we've helped over 1,000 families. And so just know we're going to really try to understand what your needs are so that we can position you to understand, like, maybe here's some options for you to consider. And part 3 of this is we can get you right in front of a lender. So if you need somebody that you're like, I want to go to the next step, I want to understand what my options are, great, let us know. We're going to connect you with the lender. Usually it only takes like 30 minutes to really them get your information, get the details in order to find out what the next steps are. Folks, we've had people that we've met with, and they've met with a lender, they bought something within 30 days, or they bought something within a year. They just had to get on the path in order to get to the next step. So if you're considering buying, you need some options, you want some information, you want to just be more informed, you want to have some more education, you just want to know how to navigate through some things, let us know, we're here to help. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to us, and hope to see you soon.